Welcome back, folks. I'm Jake Ellenbogen, and today we're going to be talking about a potential trade. And that, of course, would be Jonah Jackson, who the Rams have given permission to seek a trade. Before we dive into how I feel about this, what this ultimately means, be sure to like, subscribe, and comment. Be sure to follow me on all social media, including Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, and Kick at JK Bogan. In addition to that, just want to let you guys know that today's sponsor is Prize Picks. And it's right in time because we got March Madness. So if you can, of course, your state allows you to use Prize Picks on college players, baseball, hockey, all sorts of stuff. Get in on the action with Prize Picks. Using my code JKBogan will get you $50 instantly when you play at least a $5 lineup. So again, $50 instantly when you play at least a $5 lineup with our friends over at Prize Picks. But let's get into it. Former Detroit Lion guard Jonah Jackson was kind of the marquee big ticket item that the Rams picked up after agreeing to Kevin Dotson before free agency started. A lot of people forget that. He did not hit the market. And the Rams, little story here, the Rams were looking at backup options in case Kevin Dotson wasn't retained. And so they came across Jonah Jackson's tape. They fell in love with him, and they ended up signing the backup option because they loved him so much to go with Kevin Dotson. Now, I agreed with this to an extent. I also disagreed with it because I felt like this is a guy that had some injury concerns. I felt like this was a little bit over the top. I would have been more interested in Kevin Dotson's, although it would have cost more. I would have been more interested in Kevin Dotson's college teammate there, in Robert Hunt, who ended up getting paid a ton, but I still would have been more interested. However, I did like Jonah Jackson, and I felt like it was a good move when I really looked at it. If they were going to run the football more and try to keep Matthew Stafford, keep his passes limited, keep him upright, keep him working a long time, okay, fine. However, this did not go over well, and as of right now, Jonah Jackson has permission to seek a trade. He's a former Pro Bowler. He signed a huge deal with the Rams over 3 years. So this is his second year of his 3-year deal. He played the first 4 games, but due to injury and benching, that's really all he did. So look, he's due $8.5 million guaranteed on March 12th. The Rams do not want to pay that. I mean, they're penny pinching their quarterback in Matthew Stafford right now. There's no way they want to pay that to Jonah Jackson. Now, let me defend Jonah Jackson here. There's going to be a lot of people that say he's trash. This was a terrible pickup. He was awful. I don't think you can say that. I mean, you can. Obviously, you have the right to say that. I'm not saying you can't say that, but here's the deal, okay? Jonah Jackson, and you need to think about this for a second. This is a guy that was brought in to play guard, to play left guard specifically. Kevin Dotson was manning right guard, and he was supposed to play left guard. Why was he brought in to play guard when Steve Avila had what you could call a borderline Pro Bowl left guard season? Because they were moving Steve Avila to center. So what happened? How did that not end up working out? I don't know. He went from preparing as the center to then all of a sudden week 1, Jonah Jackson's your center. So you signed a guy, you had a cap hit of $13.6 million. You gave him a $51 million contract over 3 years to play him at guard. And then right before the season starts, and he's dealing with injuries in the offseason, you play him at a position he has no experience playing. See, that's where I feel like you can't just say he's trash and he didn't work out, because if the plan was ultimately to have him play left guard, he should have been playing left guard. They backed away from the Avila plan at center, which, by the way, Avila wasn't great this year at left guard. Of course, he had injuries, but he wasn't great. He had his struggles, and I like the guy a lot. But it makes you wonder, what were they thinking? How did this whole thing go down? I mean, this was the plan. Avila was going to move to center. Jonah Jackson was going to stay at left guard, and that was how it was going to be. However, Jonah Jackson ends up playing center, and he looks like a fish out of water. He wasn't good in the first game. He was really bad in the Dolphins game, and that's the last game he plays. And of course, as I brought up multiple times throughout the season, you have, Dan Skipper with the Lions. You got the Eagles using those Hulk packages or whatever jumbo looks and, using 6 offensive linemen. And the Rams never really used Jonah Jackson. Now, I made the argument, and I'm going to, stand on this because, I was wrong. Clearly, if they're going to trade him away, I was wrong. But I thought that the Rams could bring him back here and start him at left guard and move Avila back to center. That's obviously not going to happen. Bo Limmer likely is going to be the center based on what we're seeing here. And I guess what I would say is this. Bo Limmer was not a bad player last year, but you saw the things he really struggled with. They showed up big time in that Eagles game. And that game isn't all on him, but that play, as we're seeing now, that could be the last, the second to last play of Stafford's career with the Rams. So, look, the reason he was benched is because of injury and because you do not bench players when you win, but you do bench them when you lose. And when the Rams lost to the Dolphins, instead of realizing, Jonah Jackson is not a center, they just said, yeah, we're going to bench him all together. We're not going to try Avila at center at all. We're going to use Limmer there. And the rest was history. So, look, this is the NFL. And let's not just sit here and act like the Rams are immune to making bad decisions. This was a bad decision. Saquon Barkley did not make this much money, average annual. Jonah Jackson made $17 million average annual based on this deal. The Rams could have gone out and filled any sort of position, and they spent the money on Jonah Jackson. And they had no plan, because if they did have a plan, they didn't stick to it. And if they didn't have a plan, well, we saw it at the end of the season or at the start of the season. So this is just a reminder how this thing works. This is always how it works. There are great teams. Even the best of teams struggle and they make bad decisions. The Rams will be praised for moving off him, but I honestly think they're moving off, in moving off him, I think they're leaving a lot on the table. That's a lot of guaranteed money that's just dead. If you cut him pre-June 1st, according to Spotrac, $11.3 million in dead money. If you do a post-June 1st cut, that becomes a $5.6 million. It's like the stretch provision in the NBA. If you trade him pre-June 1st, you're still eating $11.3 million in cap, and you're only saving $3.3 million. If you trade him post-June 1st, same deal, $5.6 million you're saving. If you restructure, which isn't going to happen, you'd be saving $8.1 million, but you're kicking the can down the road. So look, I'm going to call it like it is. Jonah Jackson might not have lived up to the hype, but he only got to play in 4 games. I'm not sure any of us could have lived up to the hype. I don't even think the best player in the league could live up to the hype if you only got 4 games, and 4 games in which you're talking about in between injuries. So, and playing out of position. So I'm not here to tell you that Jonah Jackson is a superstar, but I am here to tell you that he's a good football player. Whoever gets him is going to be getting a good football player. They're not going to be eating much of his money, I can tell you that much. It's going to be a good deal all the way around, I think. I mean, you get a guy now, the Rams are eating $11 million of that, $14 million cap hit, and you're only taking on, $3 million? Because make no mistake about it, if you go and you trade him, whatever it says you are saving, that's going to the other team. So if you want to go out and get a $3.3 million player, right? You want to go out and get a $3.3 million player, Jonah Jackson, by all means, he's still a really good player. He's just a guard. He's not a center. The Rams didn't use him correctly. Now, their offensive line, I didn't think was fantastic, but they also were never fully healthy together. I just think that what it comes down to is that I'm not even going to say this is a mistake because there's already things I disagree with. I disagree with moving on from Matthew Stafford, which is what it looks like. And I kind of disagree with this. I think you're already paying him such. You're not going to be saving a ton of money. This goes into 2026. Make no mistake about it. You only eat $5.6 million, of that money, and you end up saving $17 million in 2026. But in 2025, you're not really saving much. So I don't love this move. Just personally, I just don't. If you go post June 1st, maybe you do something like that. But yeah, don't love this move. We'll see what ends up happening. Again, he is going to be due that money, like I mentioned. So the thing is that roster bonus kicks in on the third day of the 2026 league year. So whoever gets him, this could be a 1-year, $3.3 million deal if you go and acquire him. And I'm not one to, covering the Rams here. It's not that I really care about, making another team better. But if you're Ben Johnson and, you've coached this, player in the past, he was with the Lions, he was a Pro Bowler. I don't know how you're not chomping at the bit here to make this move. And the Rams might not get much for him. This could be a 2027 pick swap. This could be 2026. I highly doubt it is 2025. But in the event it is 2025, I wouldn't be shocked, because if you think about it, it's very simple. If the Rams trade him away, they're going to be eating that money. They're going to be eating $11.3 million of his $14.6. The team is going to get him, say the Bears, at 1 year, $3.3 million this year. The 2026 season carries over. Now, the 2026 season, there's zero guaranteed money. Okay? So because there's zero guaranteed money, they can get out of that pretty easily. So that's the thing. I think that you could maybe get a 2025 pick, but I'm going to say it's probably a pick swap in 2026. It's an ugly looking thing, and they just move on. It's a shame because I think Jonah Jackson fit their offense. I totally saw the vision, but to be fair, they never gave him a chance to be the left guard, and never gave Steve Avila a chance to be the center, and I think that's where they made the mistake. But those are my thoughts. Let me know yours below. This is the 4th highest paid left guard in all of football. But again, all of that money, only $8 million was guaranteed in 2024, and there's no guaranteed money in 2025 or 2026. So there is a roster bonus, $8.5 million, like I mentioned, that the Rams are going to be trying to get rid of him before. And then, of course, there's an $8 million roster bonus in 2026 that kicks in the third day of the league year. So that's going to do it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know, would you bring back Jonah Jackson? Would you trade him? What are you doing? I'm not really necessarily like hating on them trading him. I'm kind of hating on the fact that they brought in, they paid this guy the 4th most for a left guard, and then they didn't let him play left guard. They let him play center, which he never played before. Just wild. But that's neither here nor there. That's going to do it. Hope you guys enjoyed. Again, if you liked it, be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Be sure to comment. Also, if you're a Lakers fan, be sure to check out Downtown Lakers. It's my new channel. But that's going to do it. Take care, folks. I'll see you guys soon. Later, folks. All right, guys. So once again, just want to let you guys know that you can check out my new side project, The Lounge. I interview athletes, musicians, actors, actresses, all the 9. So definitely check it out over on the Lounge with Jake ELLENBOGEN channel. Be sure to subscribe and enjoy. In case you guys haven't noticed, I do have a Discord channel for my community on this channel. And if you want to be a part of it, it is free. The link is in the description below. You can sign up. This is basically a 24/7 Rams channel, and we are almost at 1,100 members. So if you want to be a part of it, just hit the link in the description below.